Hello, hi Kim, it's Casey here. Hi, oh, sorry, my light's a little off. I've had to move things because my room literally fell apart. Anyways, we'll have to work around that. It literally fell apart. The whole thing just fell down. Hi, Christina, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Hope you're going to the retreat in September. Totally looking forward to that and seeing everybody. I'm Casey Christensen. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator living in West Kelowna, BC. Hi, Daryl. Nice to see you. Geez, it's been ages, hasn't it? It's like old folks' home, or old, that's not the right term, old friends' home or something. People I haven't seen in a little while. So, nice to see you all here. I am so excited to share with you. The catalog just went live today. Holy smokes. I placed an order, thought I was being so smart. I got up early in the morning and I'm not going to say I set my alarm for 2 o'clock, but my brain just went off at 2 o'clock and said, get up and place your order. So I did. And by 11:30 this morning, I was placing another one because I wasn't quite as clear as I should have been. So I'm hoping to have all kinds of fabulous things to show you. I'm just going to take a little romp through the catalog for a second because I want to show you my favorite thing that I absolutely could not wait to get. Now, all of a sudden, I've forgotten the name of it. Okay, hang on. Page 46. Wait till you see this. Look at this. I'm so crazy about this. I ordered 2 packs of paper. I've got a swap coming up with friends in West Coast Creators. I'm thinking of using this for the swap. I'm so excited to get to use this stuff. Isn't that the cutest thing you ever saw? So this is a suite. And this suite is $94, which is relatively not too bad, all things considered. And you get the 2 packages of ribbon, 2 full packs of ribbon, the stamps. There's tons and tons and tons of dies in here, and some gorgeous, gorgeous paper. And I just think this is the most gorgeous set. Now, when I first started out with Stampin' Up! And I saw the catalog, I became somewhat overwhelmed, didn't quite know what to do with myself. And so I found that suites were the way to go. I really, really did. With a suite, you have a little bit of everything. All you need, it tells you what colors are used in the paper here. You've got Blushing Bride, Calypso Coral, So Saffron, Old Olive, Sahara Sand, and Smoky Slate. So, you know, even if you were just to decide for your first order, or for an order in this new catalog, to go with Happy Forest Friends, grab yourself a package or 2 of the cardstock that goes with this, and boom, you've got a whole bunch of cards you can make. And all of the dies on here, it shows you at the bottom of the page, all of the dies on here are usable with the compatible with the mini embossing machine here, which is really great. Nice little machine here. I'm kind of in love with that little machine. So today, though, we're going to play with Honeybee Home, which actually has been in the catalog for a little while, but it did move over into the new catalog, which makes me happy. And we're going to use the embossing folder called Hive, and we're also going to use this new DSP that is a 6-inch selection of DSP called Tea Boutique, which goes with the cup of tea set. So let me just show you that. Why do I have a marker in there? There. Okay, so this is the set that we're going to use at the moment. We're going to use this Honeybee Home. So for the bundle, for $62, you've got the stamp set and the dies are lovely. And these bees, I'm here to tell you, these bees, you're going to see them in a bit. These bees are the most realistic bees I have seen yet. And you get 3 different die cuts, so you can cut out 3 bees at a time, because one bee is facing in one direction, one is facing in another direction, and then there's the bee that's kind of spread out there. So that's a beautiful, beautiful set. So we're going to play with that today. And also today we're going to use, along with it, because we're going to do a fun fold. I'm absolutely nuts about this fun fold. Wait till you see my cards. Oh my goodness. So we're going to use this Tea Boutique DSP. This is 6x6 sheets. You get 48 sheets, so that's 4 each of 12 double-sided designs. I love the double-sided designs, although the dilemma is which side do I want to use, so that's always a challenge for me. So we're going to use that today, and I have something else I want to show you, but let me show you these cards first so you can see. Are you ready? I'm so excited. I wish I had Debbie Freeman here to do a drum roll. Check these out. Aren't these gorgeous cards? I absolutely love them. Love them, love them, love them. My friend Susan Liberta and I spend at least one day a week, sometimes two, playing with cards and playing with different sets. And this is what I did today. So I've kind of, a little faux pas here, this paper right here that I've done my hive in, that's Bumblebee. And unfortunately, Bumblebee expired. So I won't be using that anymore. But in this package, which is where this paper came from, in this package, one of the colors listed to use with it is crushed curry. So that's what I will be using. And then what I want to show you in the catalog, look at this little guy. Oh, let's get that off. It's a little snug. I made it snug. Look at this piece here. This was in the other catalog, but it's moved over. It's one of my favorite things. I don't know if you can tell, but it's like a punch out of leaves. It's absolutely gorgeous. And that is here in the catalog. It's moved over into the new catalog, which makes me very happy. And that is here in the new catalog for, it's called Stitched Greenery. So we won't be using that tonight, but we are going to, I just wanted to show it to you in case that you thought that card was as beautiful as I think it is. I absolutely just love it. Love it, love it, love it. So we're going to play with this one tonight. And it is an absolutely brilliant fun fold. Now, I learned this on YouTube. I wish I could remember the lady's name. Lovely lady. However, for those of you who know me, I love the leaves, Kim. I use them all the time. For those of you, that was probably one of my favorite things. No, you have to use a larger embosser for the leaves. They don't quite fit in there. But that was one of my favorite things to move over. Like I had my fingers crossed when the new catalog came out that those leaves would move over. But eventually, you know, you'll get the bigger embosser, Kim, eventually. But it is a lovely set. Also, the hive embossing folder that we're using today, that does not go in the little one either. Okay. So this is my fun fold card. It has a belly band on it because the card is, you know, you can tell just by looking at the card, it's going to flop open if you don't have a belly band on it. And I just thought the belly band was cute. And then inside I had a leftover bee, and I thought, what the heck, let's throw a bee in there. And it's just a cute card. Really great idea. So it's got your belly band. So when you go to put it back in the belly band, you're just going to pinch your card a little bit, and it will pop right back in that belly band just like that. Okay? I love belly bands. They just add a little extra something, right? And as you know, I'm all about something. So let's press on here. Or as the British would say, let's crack on. I like that. I'm going to start saying let's crack on from now on. So I started to tell you that I learned this card on YouTube, but I struggle with measurements. I struggle with 8ths and 16ths and sometimes even quarters. I struggle with measurements, and I struggle with doing fancy things on my trimmer that require a lot of lining up and whatnot. So what I did, and if anybody wants these, hi Stephanie, oh how nice to see you. For anybody who is interested, I can send these to you. I ended up making templates for this because I just found it so much easier to work with a template to get the card effect that I want. So let's start at the beginning. Now, I've been asked to, and I will, I've been asked to state the measurements twice all the way along, and I'm going to do that because, hey, I aim to please. So we're going to start with our card base, which is black. For some reason, when it comes to bees, black and gold just are my colors. I just think bees and black and gold go so well together. So what I've done here is I've cut a piece of cardstock that's 5.5 inches across by 11 down. Okay? That's okay, Kim. Yeah, it's okay. I remember learning once too, and it was like every time someone said it was like, oh, too quick, I didn't get that. So if you're writing it down, I am going to repeat twice. So this again is 11 inches long by 5.5 inches wide, and that's our card base. Along with our card base, we're going to need our card covers, which is these two pieces of DSP. So for the one, as I said, Bumblebee has expired. So we're going to use crushed curry. And the cool thing about that is, if you look at the colors that are included in this tea boutique, one of the colors is crushed curry. And then this piece of paper came from this tea boutique. So crushed curry it is. So these two pieces I've cut at 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. Each piece is the same, 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. Okay? So I'll set those aside. Last but not least, I have cut a belly band off of the length of my DSP, or my cardstock, and it's 1 inch wide. Okay? Just a strip 1 inch wide. Okay, so I work a little funny. Those of you who know me know that. I work a little funny. I work whatever is easiest for me to do. I need to work with whatever is easiest for me to do. So I have my trusty pencil, and I have my ruler, and this is how I'm going to do this card. So I'm going to take my piece that I cut. Now the first thing I want to do, and the lines are on my template here, which you're welcome to. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to score these two lines. We want the inside of our card to become standard card size. So that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So we want these pieces scored so that they will fold in on each other and create a standard card size. So let's start with that. We're going to take our cardstock and we're going to score at 3 3/8. That measurement I can manage. I can manage that one. 3 3/8. And remember, we're scoring, not cutting. Oh, and I did it wrong. Clever me. It's okay. It'll never show. I didn't do it hard. See what I mean? 3 3/8. I did 2 3/8. 3 3/8. But you'll never see it. You'll never see it. Because I just barely ran it over. I didn't do it hard. Flip it over and repeat. 3 3/8. There we go. 3 3/8. Repeat and give it a good burnish. We want to fold those in and burnish. And again on the other side, fold that in. Give it a nice burnish. Okay. Now, when it comes to cutting off these edges, because we need that nice, let me just take this one out. We need that nice shape to our card, like so, right? So you see I've got my template drawn out with our cut measurements down the sides here, as well as across the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our ruler, and actually I'm not even going to take my ruler. If you make yourself one of these templates, you can do it like I do it. The measurement from this top edge here to this edge here that we want to cut is 1 1/2 inches. So what I do is I get my template piece, I line it on there perfectly, and I make a pencil mark at 1 1/2 inches. Alternately, you could take your ruler, put your ruler down there, and mark your space at 1 1/2 inches. So you want to go ahead and repeat that on the other side. And on this side, I'll do it that way. 1 1/2 inches on this side, okay? So we've got markings 1 1/2 inch down on both of these sections. Oh, I did one of them upside down. That was clever. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. That's not going to work for me. So now I have a marking 1 1/2 inches down from this side and 1 1/2 inches down from this side. And then I'm simply going to put it on my trimmer. And what I want to do, oh, I'm missing a light. Hang on a sec while I turn that on. I thought it looked a little shadowy. There. That gives me a little bit of light over my shoulder, which is easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my 1 1/2 inch cut is up here. My marking, my pencil marking is right there. That's my pencil marking right there. So I'm going to line that up on the cut. And I'm going to line up my score mark. Okay. This is my score mark down here at the 3 3/8. Okay. And my lead line there that I made. Okay. So that line was cut from 1 1/2 inches down from here right up to my score line. So you see that? I'm going to repeat on the other side. Line up your score line and your pencil line. Boom. There we go. Okay, that's the start of my card. Next, I'm going to repeat. And I'll do it both ways that I do it so you can see how I do it. You can either line up your template piece if you want to. That's what I do. Scooch it up the tiniest little bit. And make your marking at 1 inch from the edge. 1 inch from the edge there. Okay, and I'm going to mark both at the same time. But if you're using a ruler, just go ahead, line it up on the edge that you haven't yet cut. You're going to go to here and you're going to do 1 inch and you're going to go to here, and you're going to do 1 inch. And you see, I was slightly off on that one. So let's, one inch and 1 inch. To be honest, that particular marking, it wouldn't have mattered if I was off. It just wouldn't have mattered. Okay, so again, we've got from our 1 inch line, we've got it from the tip of our card, from this tip of the card. So let's put that in here again. Last time we cut from the, okay, lost the word. The folded edge out to the outside of the card. This time we're going to cut from this point that we created, the scored edge. That's what I meant to say, the scored edge. This time we're cutting from the point that we just created down to the bottom edge. So the first cut is from the scored edge out to a 1.5 inch down from the top of the card. This one is from the edge we just created, this corner, down to 1 inch from the inside edge of the card. Okay? Hi Karen, I'm glad you made it in. Karen, did you see the cards? I'm so excited. They're so cute. Okay, so there's our card. And again, if you've got this template, it's pretty darn clear. So I'm happy to send this to anyone who would like to have it. It's extremely clear on the template, okay? So the next thing we need to do is we need to create our papers that go on here. Now, because I'm going to take my burnishing tool and I'm going to push down these edges on my card, but because of how we cut, I have little lips almost, I guess, for lack of a better way to say it. Got these little lips on my card that I'm not fond of, so I'm just going to flatten those down. Much better, much better. So there we have our basic card, okay? So now we're going to do this. Now I have to show you 2 ways to do this. With this piece here, both of these pieces I have cut at 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. So that's just a rectangle, 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. Okay? So I'm going to do exactly the same thing as I did before. And I'm going to take my ruler, lay the piece out in front of you like so, take my ruler, and I'm going to measure down. How do I lose a pencil that fast? There we go. I'm going to measure down from here to here, 1 1/4. So that's my 1 1/4. Then I'm going to turn my card and I'm going to go 1 inch at the bottom. So I have a marking here at 1 1/4 and a marking here at 1 inch. Okay? And that'll be my first cut. And I'm simply going to line that up. I'm going to put 1 pencil line in here at the top and scooch the card piece so that both my pencil lines are in the cutting trail there. Okay? I moved it. Bear with me. There we go. There we go. So that's my first cut. My second cut is simply going to be from this 1 1/4 marking that I made out to this corner. Okay? I need to trim that just a tiny bit more. I'm going to use my little guy because it's nice for cutting off just the slightest amount. Better. Okay, so this one is simply going to go, and I'm going to use my trimmer because I realize not everybody has one of those. This one is simply going to go from the pencil mark that's left over from the first cut to the corner of the card. So there I am. There's the corner of the card, and I'm lined up here. Okay, so that's my first piece. Well, that's what I call it. I don't know. It's the kind of, I don't know. I don't know what it is. So be aware that this card has a right and a left side, okay? Oh, Well, isn't that interesting? Hang on 1 second, please. Well, that is extremely interesting. What happened there? Sorry, people, something went a little haywire. Let's see. Let me see what it is that went haywire. Yep. I must have done my original cut too small, so please bear with me. I'm going to have to recut those. I obviously did them too small. I must have lopped a little more off the top than I should have. What happened? Oh, okay. Sorry, I lost you there. I must have moved the mouse. Oh, please tell me I have another piece of that paper, please. If not, I'll have to use the other one. Much as I would like to use that one, I have, oh, good, there it is. Okay, so I obviously I'm going to cut them both at the same time so that I'm not taking up your time. Just hang tough, okay? Isn't that funny? I must have got the initial measurement wrong. So I've got my two pieces here. We want to keep in mind that our stripe, we want it to be up and down, not side to side. So we want to look at it in terms of this way. Sorry, peeps, every once in a while there's a day like that, isn't there? I'm just going to take both of these at the same time. And I'm going to cut them 5. Whoop. No, I better not. I'll do this 5 1/4. I must have done 4 1/4 because it came out short. Okay, sorry, 5 1/4 by 3 1/4. That is right, isn't it? 5 1/4 by 3 1/4. I'm pretty darn sure. Yeah, 5 1/4 by 3 1/4. I don't know. Must have just not gotten it right last time because my piece was definitely short for the front of my card. 3 1/4. 5 1/4. Must not have been thinking with both sides of the brain there. Now, this is really important. As I started to mention to you before, this card, this front of the card has a right and a wrong side, okay? So, for example, on this one, you'd have to be careful that your DSP is set the right way so that your angle goes up towards the right and this one goes up towards the left. Now, the way that I do that is, I'm going to pretend for a minute that I'm using 2 pieces of DSP. The way that I would do that is, just like in sewing or quilting, hi Dorothy, nice to see you. Just like I do in quilting or sewing or whatever, if I need a right and a left of anything, I'm going to put them together, right sides together, and I'm going to cut them together. Then when I open it up, I've got a right and I've got a left. Don't panic, Dorothy. We are not using these 2 pieces of paper together. I'm just undoing my boo-boo. I had a boo-boo. So we're going to pretend these are both patterns. Say this one had teapots on it or honeybees or whatever. We're going to fold them right sides together, and that's when we're going to do our cutting. Now, I already know what I'm cutting here, so I'm just going to whip it along if you don't mind. So I need this to be the corner in. This top corner needs to be, and I'm working further down the trimmer so that I can see better. So the top corner should be in the cutting guide, and this corner should be along the 1 1/4 inch line, okay? That's my first cut. My second cut, I'm going to put this corner that I just cut off, I'm going to put that in the trail, in the cutting trail, and I'm going to line up, this to 1 inch. 1 inch, okay? See, I've got one, wait, I got to push that up. Okay, can you see that? So I've got one here, and I've got this on the 1-inch line, okay? Boom. Everybody cross their fingers, because we don't need to do this a third time, do we? No, we do not. Cross your fingers. Let's see if it worked out this time, and it did. Okay. So do you see what I mean about opposites? I cut these together, even though on this side I could have flipped it either way, but I cut them together so that then when I bring them over to my card and I open them up, I've got a right and a left, and that's super important. Otherwise, you're just going to end up cutting a lot of paper that you have no use for. I'm just trimming off this edge here. It's got a little goober. That's a very technical term. It's a little goober. All right, so here I have my card bits on here. Now I'm going to leave those for the moment. The next thing I want to do is I want to take my embossing folder, which I set aside right here. This is the Hive embossing folder, and we have to do this on the large one, Kim. It does not fit in the little one. What are you sorry about, Karen? What did I do? Did I miss something? Did I miss something? Tell me if I missed something, please. I like to know. I like to know. I don't like to miss anything. Now I'm going to make sure that I have this piece right side up. I know it's going on that side of my card, so I want it to go in right side up in my embossing folder, okay? Right side up, which is not this way, it's this way, the side that I want it to show, and I'm going to place it in my embossing folder. When you go to put your embossing folder in through your machine, you want to make very sure that you have the fold edge going in first, the folded edge of the folder going in first, and also that you're looking at the Stampin' Up sign. It's not upside down, you're looking at the Stampin' Up sign, because this is the side that the embossing and folder is intended to be used as, which means my hive is going to be indented, not puffing out, for lack of a better way to say that. That's all I can come up with right now, people. So let's pop this through. We'll give it a little. I am getting my muscles today. I've been building a shed with my husband. He says I'm only helping, but I'm telling you, I'm in there. I've been doing a lot of stuff. I've been climbing ladders and handing over nails and all kinds of stuff. So I'm getting my exercise. All right, so there's my piece that I've embossed. Okay, so you can see that like a beehive, my little holes are pushed in. They're not popped out like the opposite side. So you want to be careful when you use these things to put them into the machine the way they are intended to be seen, so that you get that nice realistic looking design on there. So now what I want to do is I just want to check on this. I just want to check on it. And what I'm doing is, this is not a perfect science, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm seeing if I maybe need to trim off a teeny bit, and I can see that I do down here. Just put it on your work. We're not expecting perfection here, people, except in fact, if you're looking for perfection from me, as I'm sure you can, that's it. That's the word debossed. You're sadly mistaken if you're here looking for perfection. That's not my thing. Perfection is not my thing. It's much more fun to just go fly by the seat of my pants and do what I do. So you can just line this up here. Now, if I line this up, I see that I might want a little bit more off of here. It's not a perfect science, and the reason it's not a perfect science is the way that we're cutting this. You know, we're just kind of shoving it in the trimmer and hoping for the best. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. So that's my first piece. My second piece, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to line it up, have a look at it, see how I feel about it. And I think I want a tiny bit off this edge as well. Not much, just a little tiny bit. You'll see when you try this card, it's really difficult to get it dead bang on perfect, just by virtue of the way we are creating it, you know. Okay, so there's my two pieces, and I'm happy with those. Those make me pretty happy. Okay, so I got my two pieces. Now, this one, we're going to need to glue this on with glue, because if I use my running tape on this one, it's not going to stick in the little holes. You're going to have a much better secure glue on it if you just give it some paper glue. There we have it. That's my first piece. Just going to drop it on there. You also have a little room for movement too if you're using the glue. You have just a little bit of room for yourself to scooch it along if you need to. And then my second piece, this I could use the tape for this, but since I've already got my glue sitting here, why not, right? And I can get it right into the corner. Whew. Just drop that down there however you like it. I'm going to scooch it over a little bit. There. Okay. So there's my basic card. So see, isn't that cute? I just love it. I love it, love it, love it. Next, I'm going to take my belly band and just to get it ready, right? I'm going to take my belly band and lay my card on top of it. And I'm just going to, what I do is I lay my card down in the lines of my workboard here. Lay my belly band down in a 1-inch lineup, whichever one. See, I've got it following my lines here. And just roll it over and roll it over again. Okay? Now you don't want it to be too terribly tight. So I'm just sort of gonna give this a little glue because I want the glue to settle a little bit. So we're gonna give this a little glue right now. And this is just a 1-inch strip and it's cardstock. You can do it with you can do it with DSP as well if you like it, but I kind of like the cardstock because it's a little bit stronger. So there's the beginnings of my card, okay? Clear as mud, everybody? Clear as mud, I hope? Or maybe even a little clearer than that. You can send me an email. My email is it's pretty easy. It's mylittlespace@shaw.ca. That's mylittlespace@shaw.ca. And I'd be happy to send you this template. I'm pretty sure I can post it too, but I'm kind of learning all that new stuff, so I don't want to guarantee that I'm going to have it up on my site if I can't quite figure out how to get it there and looking nice. Main thing is looking nice, right? I want it to look nice. I mean, I could throw it up there, but I would like it to look nice as well. So, all right, so the next thing we want to do is we want to make our belly band. So I've got myself some, well, I had myself some. Chaos ensues. Let's get everything out of the way that we don't need. That would be an excellent start. Here we go. So I have myself some white cardstock, and I'm just using the basic white, and I'm using the standard thickness. I'm not using the super thick one at this point. I don't really feel the need of it. So we're going to take out our, this is so cute. Look at this. Such happy, I love the font on here. Such happy news. So glad we're family. Yes, you can do it with ribbon also. You can do it with anything you like, really. It's your card. It's your card. Do what you like. Look at these gorgeous bees. I've got best of luck, miss you, stay wonderful. I like that. I got a lot of people I could say stay wonderful to. In fact, most of you are here right now. Stay wonderful, and you are the nicest. So we're going to start off with a little bit of shrubbery, just because I like to say shrubbery. And we're going to use these tall guys here. I'm not good at flowers, so shout out anybody if you think you know what this flower is called. I don't have a clue. So let's get out a Stampin' Block and my stamp here. I'm going to do this flower right here. I want to say, like, I don't know, foxgloves or hollyhocks or something, but honestly I haven't a clue. So we'll get out our memento. And we're just going to ink that up. It's a gorgeous stamp set. It is one of my favorites. It is one of my favorites. And I'm just going to stamp that There you go. Look at that. It's just gorgeous. My favorite thing about Stampin' Up! Stamps is all the shadowing is there for you. So you don't have to think about, you know, if I want it to look realistic, where do I put the darker color? Where do I put the lighter color? Because all our blends come in light and dark, as you can see here. So Stampin' Up! Kind of makes that decision for you. It shows you where you should shadow and where you don't need to shadow. So let's stamp everything we need at the moment. So we're going to get a few bees. Let's get some bees, because who doesn't love bees? I love these bees so much. They're like my favorite bees I've ever had in my stamp collection. So we're going to do all 3 of them. So let's do one of each. I think one of each will be plenty. It's not that big card sentiment to add things onto. So let's do a bee. And I'm just using the Memento ink because we're going to color these, okay? They're really lovely. So we got a bee going right and a bee going left. And a bee in the middle that's just hanging about, really doesn't know what it's doing. Bees are my favorite thing, Kim. They really are. They're just my favorite thing. That's one thing I miss about our house on Linton Street is we had a pool. And I used to absolutely love it. It was like the highlight of my day if I went to the pool and there was a bumblebee in the pool, because I would rescue it and then I would leave it sitting on the back of my hand, just right there in the sun, and wait for it to, it would just sit on my hand and spread its wings and fluff up. Ooh. And when it was ready to, it just flew off, and it was the coolest thing for me. I could sit there for hours and watch these guys dry off and cool off and feel good about the fact that I just rescued a bee. I'm a bee rescuer. All right, so I've got my bees done. Now we're going to do some coloring. Now the beauty of this is, look at the dies that come with this set. So you've got a die to cut absolutely everything that you want to cut here, which is brilliant for my money. I really like having the die sets. All right, so I learned from experience when I colored one of these this afternoon. I'm not going to, usually I do the dark shadowing first. I'm going to use the light fresh freesia. And usually I do my dark coloring first and then I color light over it and draw the dark color out. I'm not going to do that this time because when I did it this afternoon, it didn't show. It didn't show. And so I'm going to start with my leaves, and I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends. I'm going to use my light Granny Apple Green. Uh-oh, I've got black ink on my fingers, and that never goes well for me. Let me get it off. All right, so I'm going to use this. I'm using the fine tip of my blendable, and I'm just going to give myself a little color inside these leaves. I love Granny Apple Green. It's such a great, happy kind of color. Be sure your Memento is good and dry, okay? If it isn't, you're going to draw that black ink out into your colors, and trust me, you don't want that. Ask me how I know. I kind of do that on a regular basis. Okay, so now I am going to take my light fresh freesia, and I'm going to color it first. Then I'm going to go back and shadow because I just found that was a better way to do it. And I'm using the brush tip. Get a little more coverage at one time. And I don't go overly nuts crazy about making sure that every single bit of white is covered. I don't mind if it's sort of a more artistic color, like not exactly coloring in the lines perfect, partly because I'm not good at that as much as I'd like to be good at that. I've missed a little green here. I want a little green here where these blossoms start out. All right. So let's get back to this and color these blossoms. See, they're already changing colors. As soon as you color them, you think you know what color you just colored them. That's what I love about these blends and then when they dry, they seem to dry a slightly different color than what you put on there. So if the color you put on there isn't exactly what you want, wait for it. It might be. Like when I first started coloring these, I felt like these were a little too pink for me. But once it sits on there for a second or two, it then becomes a little more freesia color. Aren't freesias like the best smelling things in the whole world? I love freesias. So now where they've got on here, you can see they've got little bits of shading on these flowers in different areas of these flowers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in with my dark and the fine point and very, you know, just very loosely add some shading color to it. Not much of anything at all. Just where they've put the lines there for you. I'm really just mimicking their lines. That's all you need to do. A little bit in the center of each of those. And that's lovely. It's just perfect. That's all I need. So next I'm going to do some bees. Now, bees, we're going to do the bees. Like I said, Bumblebee has expired. And so I'm doing my bees in Dark Daffodil Delight, okay? Because I just feel like that's the right color. Dark Daffodil Delight, and the black I'm using is light basic black, okay? And we're going to use some Wink of Stella. So if you don't know what Wink of Stella is, stay tuned. It's tons of fun. Kim, you're going to like Wink of Stella. You want to put that on your list. Okay. So I'm just going to use the fine line of this, and I'm going to color in my bees. And again, I don't go nuts and color every single itty bitty little line. I just don't do that. It's just not how I feel about it. I just put a blob of color down. It doesn't have to be right out, very out to the lines or whatever. I just put some color down. There we go. Look at those little happy bees. I love them. And I don't really know which part of the bee is supposed to be black and yellow and whatever. I'm just doing what I want. Like, I don't know whether the head part's supposed to be black or whether it's supposed to be yellow. But you know what? I want it to be yellow because then I can see it better. How's that? That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. There we go. And then take the lightest of your blacks. And the only reason I say the lightest is the black is so black, that the lighter one, I'm afraid the black one might sort of overpower. So I'm using the lighter one. And just a little bit of black in there. Not going to get crazy about the legs or anything like that. I think these bees are detailed enough. And then the Wink of Stella, this is the coolest product. Now, I'm just going to give you my 2 cents worth, okay? Wink of Stella comes in colors. I don't know if it still comes in colors, but it came in colors. I don't bother with any of the colors. I'm never very happy with them. I just use the clear. Because if I'm using Wink of Stella, it's because I'm doing dragonfly wings or bee wings or maybe a little bit of sparkle on a snowy evening. I just need the clear. I just need the clear. I have the other colors, but I'll be honest, I never use them. I just really like the clear one. So I'm just going to, it's just a little brush like this. And I'm just going to go in and do a little bit of Wink of Stella on my wings. I don't know that you'll be able to see it on the camera light, but you'll just have to trust me to know that it's just a slight little gossamer wing sparkle. Not much, just a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, but Wink of Stella is like the best thing ever invented. I just love it. You probably can't see it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, and get this. This is just, I love this. I'm going to do all my cutting at the same time. How exciting is that? I love it when that happens. So here's my die cut. I'm going to use some, oh, you've got it, Kim. Good for you. I'm going to use my washi tape just because I'm not one of those people who can fire it through the machine without it moving. Heck no, not me. I need my washi tape. And before you tell me, I know I use too much of it, but that's okay. It's my washing tape, and I can use it too much of it if I want. Did I say washing tape? It's not washing tape, it's washi tape. And I know I use too much. I know. I'm just being secure. All right, so I got 3 bee dies here. How cool is that? I can just do all my bees at one time, all my die cutting at one time with this card, which really is a nice little time saver. Just line up my guys. One little bee. And a second little bee. And a third little bee. So tomorrow, I hope you're around, because tomorrow I am actually going to work with something brand spanking new out of the catalog. We weren't allowed to order too much when the catalog first came out, so I'm in the same boat as you are. My order went in today, 2 of them. Don't tell my husband. What am I saying? My husband doesn't care. My order went in today, so but I was able to order a few things in advance, so I do have a few things that I can play with that you have not seen out there yet. All right, let me quick like a bunny run this through here. I'm just gonna pop that on here. And my, okay, and on right here. Things are falling down. Things are falling down in here. It's not good. Pandalarium. Okay, there we go. There we go. Look at that. How cool is that? I love it. I love it. I love it. Everything's all cut out. Boom, just like that. I got all my bits. Okay? So put your bits where you can find them. Ooh, I do like these. I do like these very much. These are the best bees. When I get a new die set, there's a couple of things I do. I'll show you. One of the things is I draw around every single die. So you can see that I've drawn around it with ink. That way when I go to put it away, I know if I'm missing one. If I didn't draw around there, I might put it away, not know I'm missing one, and then heaven only knows where that other one is going to end up. So I always draw around, and that's the first thing I do. And then the second thing I have a tendency to do is do a sheet. Now I'll just show you my Give It a Whirl. I do a sheet like this showing what all the dies are. Like, for example, with the Give It a Whirl, if I didn't do this, I would never remember that I have clouds, I have stars, and I have hearts that I may otherwise forget if I just put the die set back in the envelope and never look at it again. This way, it's in my binder, and I know exactly what that die set holds for me. Same thing with this. Then I know that I've got, you know, I've got some, actually this reminds me of corn stalks, but you know, I know exactly what I've got to die cut, and I'll remember that I've got these bees. So if I'm doing some other kind of floral arrangement or whatever, I know I've got bees that I can add to it, because bees are so important, right? So this little guy's off just a tiny bit. I think I moved him a bit in the taping him down process. So I'm just going to trim him off a bit because he's got a little bit too much white showing there. So I'm just going to give him a little bit of a trim with my little scissors here. There we go. I'm good with that. I am good with that. All right, so the next thing we need for our belly band, put your little bits where you won't lose them. If you're anything like me, they're already lost. I need another little piece of white cardstock. What did I do with the piece that I cut? Oh, well, that's a good question. So when in doubt, I guess we're cutting another one. Goodness. There it is. There it is. Bits and pieces, bits and pieces. So this one, I'm just going to cut this. I can do this with my mini cutter, so I'm going to. Whenever I can use a smaller space, that's what I'm going to do. So I'll get out my mini, get my bits out of the way so that I don't trample on them. And I'm just going to, now when you're working with a die like this, see how this, it's a rectangle, right? Whether I'm working with a little rectangle or I'm working with a big rectangle, it's really important to send it through the machine on an angle like this. Whether you angle the piece of paper or whether you angle the die, one or the other. You're always going to get a better cut if the roller inside this machine is not going at this with a solid edge across it, okay? So just tip it over just a little bit, and you'll just get a much better cut, and it will be easier. You won't be fighting with it to get it through the machine. It'll be much easier. So there's my piece that's going on the belly band. And that's just a stitched rectangle. And it is a standard size that came. I'm not playing with that one. I'm not altering the size at all. It's a size that comes in the package. I often alter the sizes of my rectangles, but this one I'm going to leave just as it's intended to be. All right. I'm a great cutter. Thanks, Kim. I'm not sure what that means, but thanks. I have fun. There's no doubt about that. I do have fun. Okay, what am I looking for now? I need a sentiment. Let's see what sentiment we should use this time. Maybe not the same one. Let's see what else I've got. How about if I do, what do we got here? What do we got here? That one's too big. Let's do Miss You, and then I can show you how I put my, in case you need to see, well, I'm going to show you whether you need it or not. How's that? I'll show you how I do my, get my stickers on. So this particular stamp that says Miss You, here it is. It's a nice size stamp. A couple things you want to do with these sets when you get them, especially the red rubber. Not so much the clear poly yeah, those ones. But this one, first thing I want to do is I'm going to want to put its sticker on it. So I'm going to start by removing the little bit of paper that comes on here. Now, here's a little tip. Here's a little tip for you. I keep these. See this little piece that came off of here? Little sticker? I keep these. You know why? Sometimes, not to say you're definitely going to use it, but every once in a while, I will find that this little piece will make a perfect mask around this lettering if I wanted to. So say I wanted to stamp this, and then I wanted to have color around the stamp that I made, I can put that down as a mask and use my brushes and go around it and create a perfect little mask for this particular sentiment. So I do save these. I know it sounds crazy, but I save them and I use them. And the next time I use one, I'll show you what it is that I do. So next I want to take off my wording, and I want to peel it right off this piece of paper, the whole thing. See how I've got it like this in my hand now? Got the whole thing. This side has protective paper on it, and this side is ready to go. I'm going to put that down on my Stampin' block. And I'm going to peel off the paper. Now, set your piece so that you know the writing is the right way up. And set this so you know the writing is the right way up. And that way you can place this, you can see what you're doing is what I'm trying to show you. You can see what you're doing. I can now hold this piece over top. See, I've flipped it over. Here's the sticky side. Here's the block side. I flipped it over. Now I can just stick this on there. Okay? The main thing is I can see what I'm doing. So now that's stuck on there perfectly, and I'm ready to use it. Not quite ready to use it though. The other thing you want to do with these is take a fine nail file. I just have, this is just a cheapy one. I got it, actually I got it at Fabricland. Just a cheapy one. Take a fine nail file, because these are a little bit porous when you first get them. Take a fine nail file and just give it a little rub like this. You see how it's gone all white since I've done that? And I'm just going to give it a rub on my pants or my shirt or whatever I happen to be wearing. And now it's ready to use, and you'll get a nice crisp stamp from it. So my little card here, and I think I want to put my Miss You on a bit of an angle. I don't think I'm going to put it straight across. I think it would look kind of cool on a bit of an angle like this, and you'll see why when I go to put my bees on. Okay, so I'm going to go with the memento again because I'm using black cardstock and black everything else. I'm going to go with the memento. I'm going to ink up my Miss You. And pop that down there. Can you see that? Is anybody there? Because it's like crickets in here. So I just want to know if I'm still on. I hope I'm still on. I don't really see anyone talking or anyone having anything to say. Doesn't mean you have to talk to me. It's just nice to know if you're there. If not, well, I'm sorry, but you can always watch the replay if you're not actually there. Okay, so I've got my little Miss You here. Now I'm gonna put my things on. So I've got my nice little, oh, still there. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I worry when it gets too quiet because I have had trouble with my internet before, yeah, so I just want to make sure everyone's here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some dimensionals, and I'm going to use the bigger ones, and have an idea where you want to put this first, okay? I kind of want to put them on an angle like this. So I know that I can put dimensionals under all of these bigger flowers down below, but I can't put anything up above or down below there. Okay, so I'm just going to take my dimensionals, and I'm going to put on, I think, 3. One there. Oh, maybe only 2. Maybe 2 and a little one. How's that? 2 and a little guy. If I can. There we go. 2 and a little guy over there. There we go. So that's plenty. With bells on, Kim. Where are you hanging those bells? Let me tell you. I'm not sure I want to know. Do I want to know where you're hanging those bells? Oh, I think I needed another dimensional underneath there. I think I can sneak one under. Let's try and sneak one under, or does it matter? No, I'm not going to try and sneak one under because then I'm going to bend it. Okay, so there it is. Now we're going to need the smaller dimensionals. Let's see if I've got some more kicking around here. I usually do. Let me open up my dimensionals box and find some more. We're going to use some. Let's find some. Well, I can use these black ones. These are fine. I want to use mini dimensionals for these because the bees are pretty small and we don't want to overwhelm them with stuff. Okay, so now I'm going to take my bees. I think, let's see, how do I want to do this? Let's see. I think I'll put this bee that's heading in this direction on the flower. So he's pollinating. So there's my one. And he's just on a single small dimensional, okay? And now, I don't know where to put the big guy. Where should I put the big guy? Oh, I can put the big guy there. Okay, the big, oh, well, let's look here. Yeah, the big guy's going to go there, and he'll have one dimensional. I'll have one dimensional, please. He'll have one dimensional because he's going to hang off the edge a little bit, I think. So we don't want to have too much on him. Yeah, there he is. Cute! I love him, I love him, I love him. And then let's get ourselves another little black one here. What? No, Kim. There we go. Oh, isn't that cute? All right, so now what I'm going to do, just to make life easy for myself, is I glue the belly band. I just find it's better that I can I lay it in here with my inches. See how I've got this laid down with my board? I love that my board has all these increments. This is a quilting board, actually. It's a rotary cutting board, but I love the increments on it because then what I'm going to aim for is to put my glue on these 2 areas and none here and here, and then I know that my glue is in a fairly even space because I am going to glue that card on, okay? So just grab it wherever you can grab it. The good news is you have room to manipulate it after it's on there. Oh, how cute. How cute is that, right? I love it. I do, I love it. And we're going to put some things on it. Now, the other one I use the black dots, but there's also these. I also have these, I don't know, they might be a little dull. These are the in color opal rounds, which are good till 2023, and there is some gold ones there, but I think they're not exciting enough for me. Gonna stick with the black matte dots. Love my black matte dots. Oh yes, no, I don't want to know where your bells are. I don't know where I really don't want to know. So I'm going to use 3 little ones just because I don't want to overwhelm the card. I use 3 little ones. And then I'll tuck one up in there. Oh, it's so cute. Oh, I think everyone has to buy this bee set. Holy smokes. It's the cutest ever. Oh, guess what we still have to do? We still have to do something. Oh, we're at 8 o'clock. I don't have to do it now if you don't want to. Do you want me to do it? I wanted to do the inside part. Shall I do it? I'll do it. I'll do it. If you need to go, you can go. I just want to do this and then my card's complete. I'm just going to cut myself off a piece of this. A very messy, sloppy cut, but that's okay. It works. I'm just going to pop him down here. So I want to do some stamping on here. I want to do maybe a couple of bees inside. And I'll decide when I do them whether to color them or not. I don't know. I can't decide. Some days I just can't make that decision. This is just your stitched rectangle, although I have some new dies coming that are going to be a nice, not replacement because I love my stitched rectangles, but something different, you know, something a little bit different than my stitched rectangles. So for this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a couple of bees, or maybe just the one. Yeah, maybe just the one bee. So let's do this. Let's get this one little bee here. And come up. And we're just going to put him right down here in the corner. Yay! He's cute, he's cute, he's cute. Let's get my pen and my wink of Stella. We'll just give this guy a little color. Let's just give him a little color, not a lot, just a little color. A little bit of black. And a little bit of wink. A little bit of wink. Now my memento, this is interesting. My memento was not quite 175% dry. And so my wink, I know I love the bees, and so my wink has gotten a little bit of gray color into it, but I'm actually liking that. Could I do it again in a heartbeat? No, I could not. But I am really liking how it turned out. So let's do that. I'll give this guy a little stick 'em. One right through the middle. Now we're just going to place that guy centered as we can get. Look at that. How cute, right? So there's my little guy. Let me put my belly band on. And to get your belly band on, you just kind of need to squeeze your card a little bit because the belly band is meant to be tight. Otherwise, you pick up the card and the belly band just falls off. So we don't want that. So just give your card a little squish to start the belly band. Why doesn't it want to go in? Please go in. Please go in. Please cooperate. There it is. Okay. There you go. Look at that. How cute, right? Okay. So I hope you enjoyed that. That's like my favorite fun fold card at the moment. Really, really fun to do. If you want to email me, I will happily send you a picture of the templates. Also, I've been very, very busy getting things organized and looking good on YouTube. So if you'd like, go on over to my YouTube channel, Stampin' with Casey. Unfortunately, I've managed to give myself 2 YouTube channels because that's how clever I am. So choose the one that has the most subscriptions because the other one's was not meant to be. But I've got some nice videos on there and I'm doing some fun things on there that you might enjoy. So head on over, like me, and subscribe to me if you'd like to. And again, you can find me here every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. and most days at 4 o'clock. It just depends on what else is going on in my world. Today it was building. So I was building a shed right up until, it sounds like I was building it all by myself with no help. No, I wasn't, but we were building right up until 6 o'clock. So, but I will be back tomorrow at 4 o'clock, and I'm going to play with something that's brand new in the catalog that is not a carryover. And so check me out on Instagram. I've got fun stuff going on there too. It's all Stampin' with Casey on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Thank you for joining me. I really, really enjoyed my time with you today. So bye for now, and we'll see you next time.